Welcome into the Ken's 5 Digital Center and Meagan Massey from the Weather Compound. Happy Wednesday night. How's everybody doing? Hi, Meagan. How are you?
Good. Hey, Bill. How are you?
Doing great. I know. Are you missing the station as much as all of our other coworkers are?
I know. Time is just kind of flying by. The hours go by slow, but the days just zoom by. But I definitely miss it at Ken's 5. I miss everyone's kindness and everyone's space, of course.
I know. We have a great Ken's 5 family, and I really miss everybody. I did a
Mhm.
Facebook Live a couple weeks ago that just to do the pictures on our hallway walls and just show everybody, like show our whole family and say hi to everybody. I don't think Jack knew when he was putting those up that now they come in pretty handy.
Right? It's like a walk down memory lane.
I know. I mean, it's really been sad, but I know that
Hmm.
we're going to be at this work from home order through the end of May. And that's our
Hmm.
corporation has to make those decisions for all of our stations collectively. They can't do it state by state like the government, but it's been so different. And so I know you're probably
Hmm.
dying to get back in here and get on the weather wall and do your thing,
Hmm. That's going to be different too. I don't remember the last time I've stepped foot in front of that green screen.
right? But I know you're enjoying time with Ollie at home.
He's right here. He's asleep, actually.
Oh, that's awesome. See, that's what everybody
Yeah.
now has an idea and can better appreciate what their dogs do every day. It's kind of like living the life of one of
Hmm.
our fur babies, just getting out
And
for a walk now and then, but staying home.
yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
with
Brian
that weather
Olson,
classroom
seven
dog, he's been
inches of
barking.
rain in Spring Branch. Wow, that's incredible.
Whoa.
I saw we had 8.5. Did you? I don't know if you saw the rain gauge last night, and it was an
Hmm.
electronic, nice setup off of Canyon Lake in the Mountain Springs subdivision. 8.5 inches, and I have every reason to believe it because the radar estimates in the area were like 7.5, and this gentleman
Hmm.
had this beautiful electronic setup. 8.5, 24-hour rain. I mean, just incredible.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Hi,
Wow. We've got a lot of
Suzanne.
commenters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just want to say hi. There's Brianna. Good to see you. George West, Texas. Well, it's going to be a hard, long shot, I should put it that way, for George West and spots to our south. We're now looking, live radars off to our side here, and you can see two thunderstorm clusters that we're concerned with. One, of course, over Mexico, west of Eagle Pass, but the other one near Sanderson, Texas. And it's going to be just outside of Valverde County, which you can see is also under a severe thunderstorm watch through tonight. That entire pink shaded area for West Texas until 10 p.m. has the threat of seeing some dangerous storms. And Meagan, we've watched. This has been an active night north of Del Rio
Mhm.
and north of even San Angelo.
Right. I noticed that they had a few light rainfall reports in the Del Rio area, but we were just talking about before we hopped on this Facebook Live about how most of these showers and thunderstorms really haven't moved much ahead of this dry line. So it's kind of what we're waiting for, and weather models really haven't been doing an overall great job on the exact timing or location for this evening.
We've been kind of leaning back and forth between two of them. Normally we get a better consensus, but a lot of the models that we turn to on a consistent basis are all over the place, and we've got two
Mhm.
that we're leaning towards on how this plays out. And remember, these are tougher scenarios to forecast, mainly because you don't have a cold front, you don't have a huge area of low pressure. What we have is a surface dry line that will not move this far east, but some of these storms will. They're kicking off that dry line, and just how far east they get, it's hard to say. Now, one thing's for
Mhm.
sure, they're kind of in a more independent rogue variety right now. There hasn't been a squall line that developed all day. Like we had a good upper level disturbance yesterday that you had a good line of storms that moved south. Just doesn't appear it's going to be the case tonight.
Yeah, a lot different, and a very low tornado threat with this event too.
Yeah, the hail looks to be pretty large. I mean, it could be 2 to 3 inch
Mhm.
diameter in that thunderstorm near Sanderson that's got the warning right now. But so far we haven't seen much in the form of activity near Del Rio, although, as I say, that one little shower now you can see just west of Del Rio. Yeah, see this storm that's 23 miles south of Sheffield, moving east. So the severe thunderstorm warning that's, again, near Sheffield and just outside of Valverde County will not affect Del Rio. But what we're going to watch for, I mean, we could start seeing some of these storms line up, and the one west of Eagle Pass kick out to the east. I mean, it's been very humid. We definitely have a lot of fuel in the tank to support these showers and thunderstorms if they move into the area.
And you know, Bill, we only have a couple of hours on that severe thunderstorm watch, so we'll have to see if maybe the National Weather Service will extend the watch a little east, you know, over Edwards County, or what they're going to do here.
It's a good point. Yeah, 90 minutes, less than. I would imagine, I mean, who knows, but they could reconfigure this thing.
That's what I'm wondering.
It's been a very humid environment. I was looking at these dew points today, very impressive. We were in the lower 90s. As a matter of fact, look at these highs this afternoon. 96 at Cotulla, Pearsall, 94s at George West, Beeville. We hit 92, so above normal. And then these dew points are really high. A lot of lower 70s. We're comfortable, a little more comfortable, but still 67 is high. 63 Fredericksburg is high. I mean, this is a good environment for these thunderstorms. It's just a matter of how far east they get.
Definitely. Very tropical-like. And we weren't far from our record high temperature for today. I noticed that. Only, what, 6 degrees?
Yeah, let me check on that almanac, because normally we should be stopping around mid-80s. Sure enough, 86, but we go to 92, and you're exactly right, 6 away from the 2009 record. Quarter of an inch in the gauge so far, but like I said, I'll show you, because I still have that image from last night. Here it is right here. Mountain Springs at Canyon Lake. Look at that. On the right column, you can see 8.52 inches of rain. And it's a 24-hour number, but we all know that Canyon Lake, Comal County, it was within about 3 or 4 hours on that first wave, and then some additional showers came down last night for that kind of total to get. I mean, that's just incredible. 8.5 is about 2 months worth of rain in most cases.
And we're still looking at up to 3 to 5 inches of rain over the next 7 days, especially this weekend.
So earlier, and you might be able to help me on this, my QPF, and when we say QPF, watch, it's not loading here off of this computer. It's working on air off Max 1, but on Max 2, see how it won't load? But I don't know if you saw it earlier. I use this in the early afternoon shows. At 4, 5, and 6, we've got a pocket of 5-inch forecast totals from San Antonio East through Gonzales, 35. I mean, the minimum is 3 inches. You know, I hate to keep this up because, again, it's blank, unfortunately, but it's a very, very bullish forecast on just how much rain we get between now and next Wednesday. And I think a lot of it has to do with this weekend, don't you think, Megan?
I think so. And, you know, if you, that's so weird that it's not showing up on Max 2. I know it did earlier. It worked this afternoon, but, you know, I wrote a digital article on our KINS 5 page. So if you just go to kins5.com, you can see that graphic and our rainfall totals there too.
All right, good point. Yeah, and which reminds me too, please make sure you download the KINS 5 app and have your phones charged. These have been highly electrical storms. You know, one thing's for sure is so much lightning. We can't always be guaranteed large hail. Winds are going to always be a threat, but as far as lightning, we have never been short of highly electrically charged storms. I mean, these storms have a tremendous amount of updraft, so there's been a lot of lightning produced. So you can lose power quickly. You want to make sure your phones are charged. So we've been going back and forth, as I mentioned, with 2 of the models. This is the one of the 2 that we like. And the National Weather Service on the same page with us, as the meteorologist put out on the evening discussion, that they're leaning towards this model's what we call, rendering or initialization, if you will. But here's what it says. Those storms that you see now those cells dropping or even just dying out, but definitely part of the same energy package, if you will, getting into south central Texas at about midnight. And you can see between Del Rio and Eagle Pass, and then Eagle Pass gets another storm flaring up around 1 in the morning. But notice that San Antonio stays out of the mix, maybe just a few showers as early as about 1 a.m. But then moving into the 2, 3 a.m. hour, and it's just not much that makes it this far east. Scattered showers through Thursday morning, even midday. Look at that. Bringing in a lot. So this is a new run that's bringing in a lot more rainfall tomorrow afternoon.
So that was the RPM model?
This is the HRR. This is the HRRR.
The HRRR. Okay. Yeah, that one's been doing a great job on, initializing where the storms are currently. So it looks like most of them, it's been pretty consistent from run to run with showing storms, hugging Del Rio down into Eagle Pass. But like you said, leaving Bexar County mostly dry, maybe just a few scattered lingering showers overnight into about sunrise on Thursday.
This is a new trend for Thursday, yeah, that this model's got rain falling as late as 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Interesting. We had about a 20-30% chance, widely scattered showers tomorrow, not a thunderstorm environment, because again, we have two things at play here. We've got an upper level disturbance. We also have the surface dry line, both of them combining in a sense, but the dry line really the focal point for where those storms will first start. And then once we get into, watch this, once we look at Friday, Saturday, so you see these little buckles as these upper level disturbances. Watch this trough that develops as we get into Friday afternoon right there. See that big dip? And then moving right over San Antonio, that's going to be after midnight Friday night into early Saturday. And that dip right over us, that big trough of low pressure. So a trough is an elongated area of low pressure, not a tight circular cyclonic low. Instead, just an elongated area of lift, of instability. And where you see that big dip, it travels west to east across South Texas Friday, Saturday, and it lingers into Sunday. There's Sunday morning, and then we're across East Texas. So this is
Bill, did you also notice the area of low pressure developing just off the east coast of Florida? That's our first tropical disturbance, if you will, before the official start of hurricane season.
That one right there, the dot? Yeah.
That one right there, that little dot north of
Look
Miami,
at that.
Florida.
That would be something. Yeah, June 1. In fact, I know the NOAA forecast should be coming out now in the next couple of days. We're expecting an active season because we're going to be neutral, losing El Nino, heading towards La Nina in probably September. They're expecting the beginning of the season to be in a neutral environment, which was the same setup for 2005. The same kind of macro climate setup with El Nino and La Nina was in place for 2005, which was a very active year. Katrina and Rita both that year.
Right.
So, they're expecting an active season. All right, let's see who we've got on here. Hi, Bill. Hi, Megan. Hi, Sunny. Any rain at Port A in San Antonio? Well, which one? Are you just asking about both? I definitely think it's going to be some coastal rains for sure tomorrow, and then everybody on Friday, Saturday. So I just showed you the setup with the upper levels. Look at this future radar run. Now this is going to be the GFS, and there's midnight Friday night, and then once the rain moves in, look at this. I mean, just a blanket through mid-morning. There's Saturday at 2, 3 p.m. And see, this is where we're talking about a majority of that 4 to 5 inch rainfall forecast falling. Because even though, I mean, chances, look, Sunday morning, it starts drying out Sunday, but then another round you can see on the heels there Sunday night at 10 o'clock out west. So it could be a good 48 hours of rainfall coming in Friday,
I think
Saturday.
so. Yeah, definitely. It looks like a soggy weekend.
right? Holly, husband wants to fertilize the hay fields. Yeah, I would definitely do it before Friday because that's when it looks like we're going to get the most rain, Holly. I would definitely be doing it in the next couple of days. I had a neighbor who was putting down sod over the weekend. I mean, and I said to him, man, your timing's perfect because we were getting, some solid rain this week, and yeah, it could not have been better. He put down fresh sod and got a good half an inch out in our area. New Braunfels going to get any severe storms tonight? No, Tina. I don't think so, Tina. It's a long shot for even some of the showers, and that would be, again, after midnight, and we do not expect severe in the San Antonio area tonight. We do not.
We have some commenters saying that they can't wait for winter already.
Already? Wow.
Already.
Jimenez, Mexico, across the Rio Grande from Quemado. That's going to be in between Del Rio and Eagle Pass. How you doing, Marcos? Thanks for watching. Roger Dominguez, you going to Rockport? Love Rockport, man. We got to go fishing. No Rockport this weekend. Yeah, it does. It's a good chance of rain this weekend on the coast. Hey, Sebastian. Ramundo, good to see you guys. Yeah, let me show you while we're talking about the weekend and what's approaching. These rain chances are very impressive as we get into Friday night, Saturday. That's going to be the 70 to 80% coverage on rain. And Megan, I'm thinking we could see some localized flooding with this kind of rainfall forecasted.
I think so too. In fact, I included it in that article that I wrote, that weather blog this evening, talking about how localized flooding would definitely be a concern. I think mainly over the hill country, and also where we've seen the heavier rainfall totals, like the Canyon Lake area, like yesterday. We had someone comment that they've received over 13 inches of rain yesterday.
Wow. Yeah, Guadalupe River was rising quickly yesterday. We had a chopper shot last night. Very impressive, rushing waters. And so if we get the kind of rain that we're expecting, if it hits the wrong spots, and I'm telling you, from here east was that those 5-inch pockets of forecasted rain. So Jennifer wants to do some tornado chasing. Yeah, this won't be the tornadic environment. I did read where today they did confirm 2 EF0s, one near Luling and the other one, they were both east of Austin. And we had the one that did you see the Luling video, Megan, I showed last night?
I did see it, and I saw that they confirmed 85-mile-per-hour winds, right?
Yeah, exactly right. The person who posted it, Erin Etheridge, I think was her name, she said, I think that little black speck you see in the tornado getting caught up was a cow. And when we were looking, I mean, it's very far away, so you could just see this black speck, and it may have been a cow, which, reminds me of the movie Twister, right?
It's the Twister anniversary, I believe.
Is it really?
The movie.
Oh, wow.
I think so. It was either,
just on
it's,
it makes sense because I just
week.
saw it on TV the other day. It was on again. It's on quite a bit. And
That's a classic.
It is a classic. It's laughable at the end, though. I mean, they're
it really is, yeah.
literally running from an F5, and I mean, it's ridiculous. So that part, but the special effects were really well done. Any severe weather for Lytle? What's up, Alejandro? I don't think so. I really don't think so. For San Antonio and the metro, showers, maybe a thunderstorm, but it really looks like the model guidance is consistent on keeping any thunderstorm activity south of us on that trend. As these storms, again, ignite to the west, they're going to travel east, but they're going to be very sporadic, and the models are not really pushing any severe storms into our area. The Severe Prediction Center has us in a 1 out of 5 chance. I mean, it's a very minimal chance, but so we can't say 0, but it's looking less and less likely.
We have some people commenting if we've ever been storm chasing, Bill, and I can tell you that I have a lot in college. I used to launch weather balloons for the National Weather Service in Memphis, Tennessee. Back at Mississippi State, we used to storm chase during severe weather events, and the balloons we'd launch, that would help the Storm Prediction Center issue the tornado watches in many states.
So you're launching, getting readings from all the altitudes on what can be plugged into these models. Also can tell the SPC meteorologists that this is the environment conducive. It's going to be right in here in this spot. So tell me, what was the scariest moment? Did you ever have a moment where you were like, uh-oh?
Yes. Yes. So it was south of Jackson, Mississippi. I can't remember exactly the town because, every town south of Jackson is pretty small, but we were about 5 miles from a tornado, and trees tend to overlap on roads. In Mississippi a lot. And so you have to pay attention to, the wind direction and the wind speed. And we were navigating through this one tornado warned supercell, and it was isolated. So, skies were pretty ominous, and we started seeing the green color,
Oh,
greenage, like they
oh,
talk about in Twister the
yeah.
movie. And so we said, we don't feel comfortable. We drove away. We got caught in the supercell, outer, strong rain. So we got caught in the heavy rainfall, couldn't really see that well. But about 2 miles behind us, an 18-wheeler flipped on its side. So
Wow.
that kind of tells you how strong the wind gusts were. But we were about 5 miles from a tornado at that point.
And that was a gust associated with the storm system. It was not the tornado. It was not the
Exactly.
vortex that picked up that 18-wheeler.
Exactly. It was just the strong wind gust around it.
Oh, that is frightening.
Yeah. Insane.
Yeah, see, I've never gone chasing. In my nearly now 30 years of meteorology, I've never chased. And I'm okay with that. I like watching them
Hey,
from the
yeah.
confines of a studio.
Yeah. No, I get that. But it was very interesting to learn, from a different perspective outside of the textbook. That's why I really enjoyed it.
Well, the real deal, right? I mean, getting out there
Mhm.
in the element, feeling it, smelling it, it's a lot different than watching it on
Mhm.
radar or reading about it. So a couple of showers you can see just about to cross the border, and Highway 90 near Lake Amistad, um, north of Del Rio. But again, that's nothing severe. The reason why Valverde County and Del Rio's pink, that is part of a severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect
Mhm.
until 10 p.m. And again, we were just talking a minute ago, it's just a little more than an hour before we find out if the Weather Service wants to reconfigure this watch or keep it as is and just extend it. It'll be interesting to see because so far the activity has been isolated on this watch. I had one thunderstorm in the early afternoon. I can back this up about 4 hours and show this to you. There it is. It cranked up and it was looking potent. And then all of a sudden it just like just kind of yawned itself
Collapsed.
out. And now you can see the
Yeah.
same thing happening west of Eagle Pass, this almost little MCS forming, mesoscale convective system, where it just becomes its own living, breathing organism, and just really fires up and can get very strong. And whenever you see it dipping like that and kind of rotating, I mean, that becomes a very dangerous mesocyclone because it's not even part of the flow. I mean, it's kind of separating itself and it's going to
Mhm.
go where it wants. And it's not moving much to the east at all. Now you can see that little drift to the south, and that's what that storm west of Del Rio did earlier before it started to really kind of lose its structure and break apart.
So they're watching this storm. I was looking on National Weather Service chat, and it looks like the office is monitoring that severe storm just on the northwest tip of Valverde County. And they said that hail would be the main threat with that storm.
Yeah, you can watch if you see I can take the lightning out and we'll see what the hail core looks like. It really
Mhm.
gets bright. You see those purples, that's going to be the, baseball size hailstones. When you see a little, if you look underneath the word radar on our banner there, I can even pull this up full. And again, this is not a threat to Del Rio. This is just now crossing into northwest Valverde County. Valverde County, enormous. You could probably fit about 3 Bexar counties in it.
Oh, wow. So it's possible that they could extend that severe thunderstorm warning over Valverde County.
Yeah, that's true. That could be pushed farther east, southeast, and you can see there's a little bit of a line. Let me move this down there. There you go. You can see this line forming underneath that storm. A little line that's coming together there. So nothing, again, nothing too widespread on warnings just yet, but this watch in effect until 10 p.m. tonight. And a few of these showers expected to reach us in San Antonio. Okay,
Our
Vanessa's
atmosphere.
got us back. Oh, okay, we lost audio for a minute, but we're back. Thank you, Stacy.
Yeah. We're back there.
You're welcome, Vanessa. Our pleasure. Back at it. So yeah, uncapped, I mean, the cap has been back and forth with, the warm air aloft, inhibiting any thunderstorm development. We kind of lost that last night and yesterday, midday, and saw a lot of rainfall. The aquifer was helped tremendously. So the aquifer is an important thing this time of year. It, of course, is our primary source of water. However, I did read that we just tapped into another aquifer, and we're going to start getting some water in here from another source, which is always good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I forget what pipeline and what aquifer that was. It wasn't the Trinity. It was yet another one that San Antonio struck a deal, and we're going to get some another water source. But this is the main one, the Edwards Aquifer, and the current reading, 661. That 10-day average is what we're watching very closely, and this number right here. Where are you? Oh, you're not working for me. Hold on. Get my little pointer. There it is. 661.7. So that's less than 2 feet from 660, which is the stage 1 trigger. We start watering once a week. But the good news is, usually when SAWS and the Aquifer Authority take a look at it, if there's rain in the forecast, like we have coming Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and several days into next week, we're at least running a 30% chance. They would not go into stage 1. That has been the behavior in the past, is that they won't pull the trigger until they see that not only have we hit 660, but we're not looking at a chance of rain for a while, or we're in a pattern and we might just have a couple of showers that are just not going to help the aquifer. Because you can see the region we need the rain to fall, and it's in that map area right there, especially right over that drainage and that recharge. That's the hot spot. If we get rain right on there, this number goes up quickly. And it went up almost a foot from yesterday to today. So that was a nice boost just in time. I think we'll see the 10-day average go up tomorrow.
And this weekend, too. It may go a lot higher this weekend.
Definitely. And so this rain is right on time. Right on time. So I mentioned this setup, and you can see what that dry line does. It's a very South Texas, South Central United States weather pattern this time of year. It just jogs a little bit to the east in the afternoon, then retreats back to the west in the evening hours. Dividing line between that dry desert southwest air and our Gulf of Mexico moist air. And it's the catalyst. I mean, it's that surface boundary where we see the focal point of the storms. And you can see on this picture here that it's West Texas and just east of Lubbock that we've got a good round of strong storms there. And that could have very well been what came together here. It just hasn't materialized. But it's still possible. I mean, like I say, even past 10 p.m., we've got the chance of seeing these storms fire up.
So it's really the movement we'll be watching at this point. Looks like they have a significant weather advisory for northwestern Valverde County until 9:45.
Which might mean they let that warning expire. Right? I don't know. Let me get the timing on that warning. till 9:15. So 15 more minutes. They might just let that expire because we really did see that hail core shrink. Still a lot of lightning, so we could see the hail core grow again. It's
So
about
it looks like,
25 miles northeast
yeah.
of Dryden, moving east at 25. You were going to say?
I was just going to say the primary hazards here, it looks like nickel size hail and wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour will be possible. So that's below severe limits.
Alejandro's asking about the prediction on a wet winter and that hurricane season will be more active. Definitely a setup for a more active hurricane season. I wouldn't go as far as saying a wet winter just yet, but because we're heading into a real new, what they call neutrality. It's going to be between El Nino and La Nina. El Nino, as we remember, a warming of the Pacific tropical waters. Sea surface temperatures get a little above average in El Nino, which does a couple of things. It brings up a good sinking air motion in the Atlantic, and it really inhibits tropical development. So typically in an El Nino year, you don't see a lot of hurricanes. We'll always see them, but you just won't have a very active season because you get upper level winds. You also have, of course, that sinking motion as opposed to the Pacific's rising motion. Well, the opposite happens in a La Nina, where you'll have more of a rising air motion in the Atlantic and the sinking air motion for the Pacific. And that's going to be the cooling of those sea surface temperatures in the tropical Pacific. Well, when that occurs, or either La Nina or heading into the La Nina, and these can last for 2 to 3 years at a time, but in the neutrality in between them, you can get a very active season. And that's what we're predicting for this hurricane season, which begins in just a couple of weeks, June 1. Expecting the storms in San Antonio. You know, I think it's going to be overnight, Grace. By sunrise, we're not expecting much of anything. Let's get back to the radar prediction. And I want to also, while we're talking about it, show you both. You know, we always talk about getting a second opinion in the medical field, right? Well, we do the same thing in meteorology. So first is going to be the HRRR model, which is a very reliable model. All right, so now see, this is a new run already. It's already starting to change things a little bit here. Notice that it doesn't have the storms holding together, Megan, off to our south and southwest. That's what it had on the last run.
So they kind of fizzle out still.
Yeah, they either way fizzle out on their way to San Antonio, but see, look what they did with the cluster southwest. Remember the last time we looked at it, it stayed heavier. We did not see what we're seeing now up around Lakey and Rock Springs. That's a pretty impressive cluster around 2 in the morning that holds together to about Bandera and then almost Medina Lake and just kind of rains out by 5 a.m. So you can see tomorrow morning a few scattered showers, and then that's about it. And once we get to about, well, a little lingering into almost midday, widely scattered light rain. Okay, so that's the HRRR. Let me switch over to the RPM 13 kilometer. These were the two that were in agreement. And see, this one has that one cell holding together down Highway 90, down into Pearsall by about 2 or 3 in the morning. So San Antonio rain really not starting till after midnight, but staying moderate at most. And then you can see blowing up, pretty good thunderstorm there at 5 a.m. for Atascosa and McMullen counties to George West and Karnes City. Boy, Karnes City to Cuero, they had some flooding last night. They had about 5 to 6 inches of rain down there on that line. And then Beeville and then down to the coast. Hey, doing Rockport, look at that. A lot of rain. Port Lavaca, Rockport. That's going to be midday tomorrow. So the RPM, that's one of the big differences between the two, Megan. RPM dries us out by 8 a.m., where the HRRR keeps a few showers in through midday tomorrow.
So what I'm going to be watching for, you know, we have a little less than an hour now on this current severe thunderstorm watch in Valverde. I'm wondering if there are any talks going on with the Storm Prediction Center, if they're going to extend it east based off what we've seen with the latest HRRR model, you know, with that little cell over Rock Springs in Real County too.
That's a good point. If they follow that guidance, and they were leaning when I read a 7 or 7:30 discussion that mentioned they were leaning towards the HRRR. I still can't think of the word I'm trying to look for. Not guidance. Solution. There it is. They were leaning towards the HRRR solution to this. Remember, so what's cool, in fact, I covered this in today's weather classroom. We did Computer Models 101. We watch what models are doing on each and every run. That's why we have to look at the difference between one afternoon run and then a few hours later, new data is plugged in and the model output changes. And you have to pay very close attention to that and never, ever just rely on one of these models. That's why we always look, minimum is going to be 2 or 3 of them. In this scenario, as we were saying earlier, the models have really struggled with this. The majority of them have not really, you know, dovetailed and agreed with each other. Just these 2 that we're looking at are the ones that are really kind of handling the situation well.
A lot of disagreement.
So real moist outside, that's one thing that has not changed. You know, when we talk about dew points and the amount of moisture in the atmosphere, we're not losing our moisture all week long. Southeast winds are staying in place. Watch these dew points tomorrow, you know, hovering around 70 and staying there all through tomorrow night. Here's 9 p.m. tomorrow night, and we're still in the lower 70s. So this tropical environment stays in place, and the main reason why is right here, these winds. If you watch the winds, they're southeast the whole way, between 10 and 15 miles per hour, just consistent Gulf fetch, and you can see the winds get a little gustier with some of those red contours showing up. Those are going to be wind gusts, maybe about 15 to 18 miles an hour. But as long as that southeast wind's in place, which now we're looking Friday night, 8 p.m., and it has not changed at all. That's why I say that this is not a cold front. We're not going to see a surface wind shift. And as long as we're getting that prevailing wind from the western Gulf waters, we've got fuel in the tank and ready to rain, you know?
We have gusts near 30 right now in San Antonio.
Right now?
Right now.
Wow. So I wanted to take a look. I have a precipitable water graphic. That's a good word. Precipitable. See if you can spell that one.
Say it 5 times fast.
The FCC, something might happen. I'm scared to say that too quickly. Here it is. So precipitable water, I mean, it almost just, you know, explains itself in the term, is the amount of water the atmosphere is ready to rain out. And they'll quantify it. A lot of times we'll look at precipitable water values, PWs, that'll show us the value of, like, say, 1.5. And that could translate into about an inch of rainfall at the surface. So you're looking for these contours in that aqua color. Look at all of the moisture tonight in the region that we're concerned with, which is the, you know, Rio Grande, where these showers and thunderstorms could definitely hold together. Again, this is atmospheric moisture, okay, or as the banner reads, moisture availability. Now, as we roll, look at that. See those pockets of yellow and orange? Those are really high amounts of atmosphere moisture. It does appear that it stays south of us. Now, see how it hugs the coast, but it definitely keeps us in that green. Lets up a little bit on Friday. Look at that. There we go. That's overnight Friday into Saturday. A ton of moisture available. This is where we get those kind of rainfall totals of 3 to 5 inches in the 7-day QPF, which the QPF is quantitative precipitation forecast, and it's very impressive, especially east. See that? Look at that. By Saturday afternoon. So very wet air. And it's water that wants to rain itself out, wants to get out of the atmosphere and fall to the surface. And so it does appear that San Antonio stays on the cusp of it. But we definitely have a lot of moisture. And again, this is in not just the surface. Surface is measured with the dew point, and then we're looking at the quantitative on the mid and upper levels there.
So we have some questions about the weekend forecast, and it looks like our best chances will be Friday night into Saturday.
Yeah, it does look like Saturday is going to be a pretty wet day.
Yeah.
Sunday, there's a chance, but it's about cut in half from what we're expecting Saturday. Saturday's the most of the rain.
Looks like these showers and storms right now are really starting to move into Valverde now.
Yeah, that branch, you see a little line forming south of that severe cell. Let me get in tight again here. I just try this here so you can see a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a pretty impressive storm. Good structure on it. Let's take out the lightning and see what that reflectivity looks like. The hail is really falling off.
Oh yeah, so it looks
area.
like maybe
What's
threat
that?
maybe now.
Marble size.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that warning in effect for another 5 minutes. I would imagine it could get extended. And then the reason for the pink, that's the severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 10 p.m. Was that reconfigured? Looks like some counties are, whoa. You see
So
that?
it looks like they trimmed back on some counties, but Valverde's still in place through 10, and they haven't mentioned
It just dropped a
any
ton of counties. Is that mentioned on chat?
No, it is not.
I mean, a one county watch, that really wouldn't be usual. That's highly unusual.
So that's going to be San Angelo. So I'll have to open their chat room.
Oh, the San Angelo office.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times these offices, by the way, guys, will kind of, submit to each other, if you will. If the storms are closer to a certain office and they can get a better handle on things, one office will kind of pass the baton off to the other as far as warnings are concerned. Remember, when we have severe thunderstorm, tornado warnings, flash flood warnings, when we go from a watch to a warning, that's going to be the local National Weather Service office. The Severe Prediction Center is what's going to issue the watch areas as well as the thunderstorm forecast, which we call an outlook. It's going to be where we have that 1 through 5 level gauge. In fact, let's take a look at that and see if anything's changed there. No, nothing's changed on this for tonight. This is from what we call the SPC, the Severe Prediction Center will give us that 1 through 5 ranking. And you can see this came true to a T. The number 2 region has been a lot more active, especially north where you get into the enhanced risk area. That's where a bulk of the activity's been from this afternoon and into tonight. We've been real quiet on our end of things. But they do have us in that 1, and that's going to be San Antonio, New Braunfels, Kerrville, Bernie, south almost to Pleasanton before it cuts off. But we haven't seen a watch issued for the area. This is shy of watch criteria, but a thunderstorm can't be ruled out. I like to show this hour by hour as our good friend, well, see, oh, wow. Okay, this changed a lot. So at 6 p.m., because I was talking it over with our 10 p.m. producer about what the chances were looking like, and I said, because it went from 9 o'clock, we had that 20% chance, and at 10 p.m., it was 100%. It went from 20 to 100, and it stayed at the 100% chance 10, 11, and midnight. Now they've dropped it to a 40% chance. So a huge change here. That is remarkable. Because I was joking, as our good friend Drake always says, 20 to 100 real quick.
Oh my goodness.
No? I didn't know he was that into meteorology. Hey, guess what? Speaking of which, guess who said if it wasn't for his God-given talent, he would have been a meteorologist? And I'm talking about an individual that is probably known
Michael Jordan.
Huh?
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan, you heard it too. It was during that, The Last Dance has been real popular on ESPN. And he said he has a love for meteorology. And if he did not have this gift in the game of basketball, he would have gone to meteorology school and been a weatherman.
That's crazy.
And it helps when you're taller because, you know, if you're higher up, closer to the stratosphere, you get forecasting is going to be a lot easier, don't you think? The taller
Yeah,
you are,
that's
the
right.
better.
You can see the jet stream and everything.
Yeah, I mean, he could definitely jump up into it. I mean, you know, some crazy hops. So that that complex west of Eagle Pass is impressive. It's just not showing signs of a big push. It's been very slow moving. That gives you an idea of what happened yesterday in Comal County. That's pretty much what it looked like for a solid 90 minutes. And the same at Cuero and Karnes City last night led to flash flooding in both areas. That's when you get about 3-4 inches of rain over an hour and a half. What were you going to say?
Yeah, so the storm moving over northern Valverde County right now, that's only moving east at about 25 miles an hour. So still pretty slow when you think about it. And it looks like the one to the south is kind of back building a little bit over Mexico.
It does. It does look like it's just kind of backing up. So this warning has expired at 9:15. So we're below threshold of severe, which means we're not seeing the large enough hail. Doesn't mean hail's gone, but marble-sized hail will not reach criteria for a severe thunderstorm, as well as the wind speeds. Wind speeds have to be at least 58 miles per hour. So radar estimates are below both of those. This is just really interesting to me that we have this severe thunderstorm watch for Valverde County until 10 p.m. And that's it. Let me see that other map real quick and as to whether or not that's going to match up. Yeah, it does. Look at that. That is curious to me. I wonder why they did that. Because again, this is very unusual.
Yeah, San Angelo, they have expired or canceled the severe thunderstorm watch for many counties, but continued for about 4 counties and their viewing area through 10 p.m.
You know,
so that's going to be north of San Angelo.
That's the hardest area. Look at those counties north of San Angelo. I mean, it's like a checkerboard. I mean, they're all the exact same size. You know, what I love about our counties is you know which one's which just by the shape. And there's about 8 counties up there, 8 to 10 counties that are the exact same size and shape. I mean, that is really difficult for me to look at without, like, especially for forecasters up there to really pinpoint.
Yeah, having to memorize.
I cannot tell you, Megan, the last time I've seen a 1 county severe thunderstorm watch.
Really?
I really haven't. I mean, that's very rare. Of course, again, we're talking about Valverde County, which is larger than a few of our states and definitely can fit about 2 to 3 Bear counties. It's a huge area. So I get it, but man, it's mainly off that one storm. Now, here's the thing. Notice that nothing's building out to the west. This is going to be the activity for the night. We're going to watch this line, make sure it behaves itself as it started. Because, again, it's got too many dynamics in place to hold it together as it moves east. I mean, our dew points alone, goodness. And then we saw good sunshine today that helps things, too. And the heat, we hit 92. I mean, all those kind of ingredients in place almost get dangerous when you get a thunderstorm nearby.
looking at instability, I mean, we still have CAPE over 2,000, 3,000 in a lot of our counties.
So CAPE, what Megan's talking about there, is going to be convective area potential energy, the atmosphere's ability to produce severe weather. And so you're giving those numbers, that's going to be joules per kilogram. Do you have an easy way to measure that? Now, what's a low number? What's a high number?
4,000. So the higher the number, the more unstable the atmosphere will be.
So 4,000 joules per kilogram is what's being measured there. And yeah, that's crazy high. If we're operating around 1,500 to 2,000, you can get, you can get some good storms in that environment as well. But you go up to 4, and it's very unstable. A lot of lift, a lot of buoyancy. You know what you're missing out on? The McCafe coffee.
Oh, yes.
It's McAwesome.
I thought you had your secret coffee stash.
I haven't bought any in a while because I would do the community coffee cups because we got the Keurig kicking at Ken's. Of course, Ken's would have a Keurig. Hello.
Yep, we should brand it that way.
Yeah,
We really should.
It's all about the K's around here. And so we got Ken's Keurig, and it's really cool because it's wired into our water line, so we don't have to ever fill it. But
That's convenient.
it's like the best one you can get. It's a really big Keurig. I've never seen one like this. It's like the Keurig 3000 or something like that. Remember? Okay, I'm really dating myself with the kids. We used to watch. Remember Wow Wow Wubsy? It was an old cartoon the girls used to love watching, and there was this one like scientist that would always come up with like the 3,000. Everything would have thousands on it. Would be the new machine that he made.
Yeah.
I forget what his name was, but then there was one character that would always go, "That's kooky."
Yeah.
Anybody out there? Wow Wow Wubsy, help me out. No,
I
they all
think I
left.
remember that just a little bit. I was probably very young. I don't know.
Alejandro, what are the factors controlling the weather? The high, the low, I know, but what else? The ozone levels, exhaust from vehicles, heat and cold fronts? Wow, that's a lot in one question, Alejandro. Factors that control the weather. I mean, highs and lows for sure. Now, those are going to be larger, remember, aerial macroclimate systems, if you will. A high can cover several states, upper level highs. But then there's surface highs, that control a lot of where our wind comes from. When we can have a surface high with clockwise winds around Louisiana, we're going to be pushing in a lot of Gulf moisture around that high. Just picture it sitting over Louisiana and rotating and getting that surface wind going. Lows, cyclones, counterclockwise on the surface as well as in the upper levels, okay? So highs and lows are crucial. Lows are always rising air, highs are sinking air. That controls a lot of what happens. Fronts, obviously, that's going to be air masses that are on the move. Warm front, cold front, occluded front, where the cold front catches up with the warm front, and where those are moving, the dry lines, those are all going to be surface boundaries that can be the dividing line of air masses. And that's typically where you'll see the most activity. And when I say activity, rain. And showers and thunderstorms will develop because of the changing in those air masses. Christian, how are you? Good to see you, Christian. Glad you're watching. Rain for San Antonio overnight. Chances are through tomorrow be minimal, but really Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, we're looking at a good 2-day, about a good 48 hours of wet weather that could spell out a good 4 to 5 inches of rain. Hopefully we spread it out enough that we don't have too many flooding problems, but I'm a little concerned with it because we've had a lot of rain in certain areas already. Like I say, 6 to 8 inches in Comal County, 5 to 7 inches down to our south and east between Karnes and DeWitt counties. If enough rain falls in those two areas, we're going to lead to flooding quickly because we'll only be a couple days removed from those rain totals before we start getting them again. You're welcome, B, anytime. It's the Ken's Keurig 5000, limited edition, not even sold in stores.
Yes, that is awesome.
You need a certain license to even operate this thing. Are you kidding me right now? That's great, Brian. That's great.
Our Keurig has to be blue too, the Ken's blue.
The Ken's blue. Hey, by the way, Jack showed us today, or showed me at least, the new Ken's mask. Wait till you see this, Megan.
I
Drawstring.
think I saw it during a meeting.
Oh, you
One
did?
of our meetings
Yeah.
yesterday. Yeah.
It's awesome, right? And I think we're going to get the Ken's logo on there. I was just hoping our old catchphrase was coverage you can count on. Maybe we bring that back just for the masks.
I see what you did there. Yeah.
Right? All right, well, I will exit stage left. I'm going to go get ready for the 10 p.m. broadcast.
Okay.
If you feel comfortable continuing, or if you want to, we'll go down for a little bit. If you want to come back up, what are you thinking?
So what I'm thinking is I'm going to look at some stuff behind the scenes here, and I'll hop back on. I just want to see what the SPC is thinking and the National Weather Service, if they're going to extend the watch or go ahead and cancel it. Look at a few more weather models to see the updates that we've been looking at during this live. So, if anything starts to turn severe or turn a little rocky over the hill country, we'll definitely be back up and live on Facebook here.
Awesome. Okay, so this is the spot that we're going to be watching, everybody. Northern Valverde County right now. Nothing too dangerous. It's not a warning. We have the watch in effect for Valverde County. The storm moving east at about 20 miles per hour. Some small hail. Winds of probably about 45 to 55 miles an hour in that range, because it's a good thunderstorm. But it is the lone storm that we're concerned with at this point. The cluster west of Eagle Pass, still kind of drifting very slowly off to the south and east. But I'm going to go get ready for Eyewitness News at 10. And as you just heard, Meagan Massey will keep a close eye on things behind the scenes. I'll see you on Ken's 5 television. We'll be back on Facebook either way at some point if this warrants it, or of course on Ken's 5 if it warrants it as well. Megan, great to see you. Miss you and Andrew a lot. Can't wait till you guys are back in the building and we can work together.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I will talk to you here in a little bit then.
All right, everybody take good care. When you know we mean it, and we'll see you on Ken's 5.